Ho ho! Whoa. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Megavision Show. So I had to try and do something slightly spooky.
That just sounded really uncomfortable, but let's keep going. It's hilarious.
Okay, yeah, good. Welcome to the latest episode of the Megavision Show. Today is October the 22nd, 2021. And joining me this week, I've just realised I should have already done a Halloween-themed song, but fuck it. We'll do it live. Last night, he dreamt of San Pedro. Just like he'd never gone, he knew the song. A young boy with eyes like the desert. It all seems like yesterday, not far away. It's Chris Powell.
That was spooky enough for me.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah, hopefully it's chilling, frightening. As always, we've got a great show for you. We've got news of Paprium. If you don't know it, the indie sort of Genesis Mega Drive scrolling brawler is getting a new Kickstarter campaign. Whoa. And very, very scary indeed. We've got the best Grand Theft Auto games are getting a remake. Aha! And could Sega be to blame for the Switch's Sorry, I've screwed up this whole intro. Never mind. Could Sega be to blame for the Switch's online expansions at high price? Whew. We'll find out later. And but before we get started with the games and stuff, have we got any magazine news and updates, Chris? What have we got?
We do have some magazine updates. So as everyone knows, issue 1 is done. We're still waiting on the issues to get back from the printer. That's where we're at right now. So the update I can give is we got an email yesterday or the day before somewhere, but the printer let us know that they had some shipping delays or actually printing delays on their end with some of their projects, because the way they do it is they basically put orders in a queue and they kind of try to keep that on schedule, but for whatever reason they were behind schedule at the moment, which meant that publishing and printing of Megavision's issue 1 is also pushed back a little bit to October 26th is now the estimated dispatch date on when it should ship from our printer to us, and then we can then get those out the door. So at that point, it's probably going to be an additional couple days because I believe it's about a 2-day turnaround on shipping from their offices. But as soon as we get those, we're going to ship those out. I'm waiting. We got everything ready to go in the office to ship these out. We're just basically waiting on the copies to come in. So as soon as we get those, they're immediately going to start getting shipped out to all the patrons. And then once we get that completed, we're going to turn our attention to getting the product page on the website rocking and rolling. That way people can order them off the website, and then we'll be good. And then we're going to turn in our full attention to issue 2, which we'll have some news on issue 2 very soon, actually. So we're firming it up. We're already starting production, and a lot of work's actually already gone into issue 2. And so we'll be sharing more about that as we go. But I just want to give you that quick issue 1 shipping update. Just push back a little bit. So hoping that we'll get them in about October 27th or 28th.
Lovely stuff. Okay, yeah, that's sad to hear, but good update. That's handy. Yeah, nice. All right. Yes. Awesome. Chris, buddy.
Me.
How's it going?
What? Good. Good. I didn't know you were talking to me. I didn't know who you were talking to.
It's only you're the only one here. Who else am I going to talk to? But yeah. So we'll crack on with the show. Chris, as always, let's kick off with what we've been up to during this week. What have you been up to, dude? What's going on?
Oh, so as I told you earlier, I've been cleaning out the Megavision studios, getting everything moved in there, and I've been unpacking some stuff, and I found something really cool that I thought maybe the chat and maybe our listeners would kind of be interested in seeing and listening to us talk about. So this, what I'm holding, is the Coleco Chameleon guide, essentially, for Toy Fair in 2016. If you remember the Coleco Chameleon, that was that kind of, I guess it was a vaporware system that Mike Kennedy was behind, and Mike Kennedy was also the same guy who was behind the Retro magazine that I did have some affiliation with at some point.
Okay.
And he also had Game Gavel, and so he spun another company out and was going to do the Coleco Chameleon. And so Marcin and we actually went to the Toy Fair in 2016, and we were there on the show floor playing the Chameleon that they had on display on the show floor. And we played it for a long time. Come to find out that it really actually wasn't a Chameleon. It was like a SNES Mini inside of the shell there.
Oh.
So, but it's just it's such a strange story. But this is really cool because let me see if I can hold it up. It says it has a whole page introducing the Coleco Chameleon, because what this is for too is like they're trying to get like buyers, toy buyers and stuff to buy this thing at the toy fair. And so, you know, as the people are coming up, they have all this information about the Chameleon and some of the other Coleco products, because this was actually a whole Coleco booth. It wasn't just for the Chameleon there, because ColecoVision or the Coleco company is actually still in operation. And all that Mike Kennedy was doing was essentially licensing, at least from how I remember it and understand it, was licensing the Coleco name from the company. And so after the fallout with the Chameleon happened, they ended up cutting ties, and they continue to do new products. And in fact, it's funny, I won't show it here, but their office is actually located very close to me. It's here in New Jersey. It's kind of interesting.
We'll come round.
It's interesting. So this page just has kind of a really standard shot of the Chameleon. You have the controller here, and that weird Atari Jaguar shell, because I don't know if you guys remember, Mike Kennedy also bought some of like the tooling kits for the Jaguar.
Oh, really?
So he was able to create new shells. And one of the things he was able to do, I think he did a few runs of different variations of colors for some of the Jaguar community. And in fact, I think before that, they were using it to do these shells, and they were making some sort of product that was going into dentist offices. And so you'd see dentist offices that would have it looked like an Atari Jaguar on their wall, but it was like a completely different product inside. It was just using the shell. And I think that they retooled it a bit. I think they were going to use some of it because it does look like that a lot there. And then it has some more information. I'll read you a little bit here, and then we'll move on. But it says, if you look closely, you might notice something familiar about the appearance of the Coleco Chameleon. In a move that saved the team considerable startup capital, we purchased and took ownership of the original mold tooling Atari used to create the Atari Jaguar in the early 1990s. This tooling is still in exceptional condition and able to create high-quality polycarbonate parts to this very day. We are repurposing this tooling to create the Coleco Chameleon console and cartridge shells with slight modifications.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and this is what it says about the controller. The Coleco Chameleon controller is designed to have the best of both worlds. From modern-day controllers come responsive dual analog sticks and shoulder buttons, combined with the all-familiar and loved classically inspired D-pad and correctly oriented buttons. The Coleco Chameleon will utilize its own USB controllers, but gamers also have the option to plug in their other favorite USB controllers and devices. Even a keyboard, it says. Wow.
Correctly oriented buttons. Unlike every other gamepad, which is, just not correctly oriented.
Right.
What's that mean? What's that?
I'll read you this thing, because this says some other interesting bits that if the Coleco Chameleon ever saw the light of day, this is kind of what they were thinking and planning. So it says, take gaming back to its roots. Never patch a game. Games are tested thoroughly before release, just like they used to be. I mean, there's a lot of shitty, buggy ass games out there. Never update your system or risk turning into a brick. Your console stays factory fresh.
Wow.
Because they just never update it. No network connection or game server required. Never fear your favorite game will get pulled or shut down, because they just never come. No hidden costs from downloadable or streaming content.
Wow.
So
Wait, so
there you have it.
Does it have downloadable content for it? Because it sounded like it was just completely offline. Then it said no hidden costs for that stuff. So I don't know. Wow, that's
yeah. I don't know if they had planned all the downloadable stuff was going to be free or something. I don't know.
Crazy. Okay,
but anyway, I just wanted to show that off. I thought
that's
that was
pretty cool.
cool.
That's pretty cool.
As I find more stuff, I'll try to maybe bring it on if I find something I think that might be interesting. But right now, I'm setting up like the entrance to the studio as it has all these different game magazines and stuff. So I'm really excited about it. It's almost ready to show. I want to do some more tweaks and stuff, but maybe later on this week I'll start posting some more photos of that. One thing that I did that really it's been bugging me, but it's been one of those things that I've just kind of been putting off for a long time. So for the past like 3 or 4 years, since Odin's really started playing, more on the Xbox, he was using my account to play with like his friends and stuff, because for whatever reason we would try to set up the some of the family accounts for him, but on some of the games he would play like Roblox and some of the other online games, it wouldn't let him play because he was I don't know, I know it's supposed to work, but it wasn't working. It wouldn't allow him to play because he wasn't a gold member, so he had to use my account.
Yeah.
And long story short, like fast forward like 3 years, I have all these weird kids on my friends list and all these just like messages about like, I don't know, just stupid stuff. And so I literally spent like an hour of my day today just going through and deleting old messages and then trying to unfriend or unfollow people on there. But I really wish Microsoft would make a better way to do this, because I'm just using the app and you have to go to everyone and like select it and then go down, like hit more and then unfollow or do that. And it's not intuitive. I wish that I could do like a bulk unfollow or unfriend.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful. And the same thing with messages. I wish I could do that too. You might be able to do bulk deleting the messages in maybe the phone app, but not the Xbox app on PC. It won't let you, not on Windows.
Man,
at least.
That's crazy.
So,
I very quickly, I had almost an opposite situation with a friend who he has, it's his partner's son, but it's basically his son. They got him an Xbox. They set him up with Xbox Live account, and then my friend wanted to play Call of Duty online with me. So my friend started using his account and friended me using his son's account, basically. And then his son basically kept messaging me, because I know his son, I get on well with his son. Like, we played games together when we've gone around to his house. But he kept messaging me wanting to play and stuff. But I felt a bit awkward because I don't really want to play games with like a 9-year-old kid,
Yeah, I don't.
I like him, but I'm happy to play when I go around to the house and stuff. But yeah, I don't really want to play games online with him.
Yeah, he's funny.
And mostly he was playing Minecraft, which I'm not really into, and this and Fortnite as well at the time. Now he's more into other games, but he's got a little bit older. But yeah, but apparently he kept like asking my friend so I keep sending great messages, but he just doesn't reply to them. Like, what's going on? And sometimes he send me messages during my work day. I'm like, I'm on my Xbox. Like, I'm using that. But it turns out my Xbox app on my PC was running in the background, so it made it look like I was online or something. Because it's like, yeah, apparently you're online all the time. I'm like, I'm really not online. Like, oh well. But yeah, it's like the opposite, basically. So I'm getting messages from people. Like, oh man. Anyway.
That's funny. Aside from that, I watched Halloween Kills. We were just talking since we were playing some scary games. I think it'd be fun to talk about this. Have you said you watched a lot of the Halloween movies, right?
I've seen a few of them. I definitely saw the last one in the cinema. I think I've seen the one before that. I think I've seen the original, and I might have seen Halloween H2O. How many are there? I don't actually know how many there are, to be honest.
So this one takes place like immediately after the last one. It takes place like the same night and everything.
Ooh, okay.
It's interesting though, because it doesn't immediately start where we left off. It does give a little bit of it jumps back in time a little bit and shows you some stuff that happened with Michael Myers and that first night and everything that he went on killing in the original movie. It does. So it kind of is a interesting thing about trying to connect and some of the pieces in that and connect this story to the original or this movie to the original one. But it takes a little bit of a long time. And really it's just, man, it was just, I felt like all it was Michael Myers going around just stabbing people. And then people around, just all the characters just seemed just to not ever behave or make any logical choices at like what anyone really would do in this situation. So for instance, I don't know if you remember Laurie Strode's granddaughter. It's like the girl that she was in high school in the first movie.
It's been a long time. I'm gonna say no. Like I don't remember. I don't remember really anyone.
Okay, so in the original movie, I'm not gonna say the original, but in the first of the new Halloween movie,
okay,
Michael Myers comes back and is chasing Laurie Strode, who's the get off of me, Max. He keeps trying to jump on my lap. And then she has a daughter, and a granddaughter. The granddaughter is in high school. The daughter is like 40 years old now, and thinks that her mom's crazy. Okay. So she doesn't like her daughter being around the grandma because she's crazy. So anyway, fast forward to this movie, and now like the Laurie Strode is in the hospital. The daughter, for whatever reason, wants to go on this like hunting spree and try to hunt down Michael Myers. Like the dude is like killed so many people. The cops can't kill him. No one can kill him. And she thinks like her and her boyfriend are going to be able to go out and hunt down Michael Myers. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But I will say it's like, I did have some fun watching the movie. I wasn't bored with it, which is probably one of like the worst things you could say with a horror movie, I think. It did have some entertaining moments. I thought there were some kills that I just felt like really uncomfortable with.
Oh wow!
Like, man, it's just like because I'm not really into like gore and stuff, and so I don't watch like the Saw movies or Hostel. I don't watch any of those because
they're pretty.
It's too much. Yeah. I don't like that. But I do like some interesting and like inventive kills. I can appreciate that. Certainly, I'm a horror fan, so I like that stuff. But some of these are just like, man, it was just like very graphic. I was like, damn, this is a little intense. So, but overall, it was okay. It's definitely a letdown from the original or from the first one, which I thought was a really good horror movie. It was just it stayed kind of simple and true to the kind of the formula, I guess, that the original ones set forth. And this one is just kind of a little sloppy. Okay. I hope that they can really tighten it up for the third one because that's like the end piece. So that should be the really exciting one. This is kind of like that middle movie in the Hobbit trilogy that just no one wanted. I think this is kind of the same thing. Like they didn't need it, but it's a trilogy, so I guess it has to exist.
I quite like them. Controversially, I enjoyed the Hobbit movies quite a lot more than Lord of the Rings. So.
Yeah. Well, your opinion's wrong on that one, so we'll just keep going.
Is it though? Is it? Anyway.
I'm just joking. Aside from that, I have been playing something that I wanted to talk about really quick. It's called Steel Assault on the Switch. And this is coming from Zenobia Interactive and published by Tribute Games. I believe this is one of the first games published by Tribute Games. They are the previous developers of Panzer Paladin, which was a freaking phenomenal game. I love it. So we're pulling up the trailer here.
There we go.
And so Steel Assault was released on September 28th. Cost $15, and it's a 16-bit style game modeled after kind of I guess it's inspired by Castlevania Bloodlines, also Contra Hardcore. And I didn't realize this. It actually started out as a Kickstarter game in 2015.
It looks cool.
Yeah. And I one of the things that immediately like hooked me was just the pixel art and the graphics are really good.
That's good
in this game. Really, really good. I'll tell you a bit about it. So the game stars this character named Taro Takahashi. He's a resistance soldier on a mission against this like evil dictator. Basically, But one of the cool things about it is you have this 8-way directional whip that you can use, and a zip line thing. That this mechanic is really cool because you can use it to shoot it like diagonally on the screen, and it'll actually attach to a portion, and you can use it to kind of climb up. Yeah. And like, say if there's like a boss that's like charging across the screen, and you can't just simply jump over them. Well, you can use your like zip line and attach it to something and jump up and kind of escape the boss before he gets there. And so they do a really good job of kind of integrating that into the level design and some of the platforming. It takes some getting used to, though, and this game is hard. I will say that it is hard. You're going to die a lot. It's very challenging, but I do believe there's saves, and there's like infinite continues too, so you can just keep playing. Once you hit your checkpoint or the level, you don't have to go back to the very beginning of the game. You start where you're at. I've only been able to make it to the second level. I'll be honest. It took me a minute to beat the first stage, but it's honestly one of those that it just takes some time to learn some of the patterns and some of the enemy or boss weaknesses. And so if you take some time with it, you'll get it. And I do like it because I feel like as I keep playing it, I'm getting a little bit better and better. But I love tribute games, so I really wanted to check this out. Of course, they are going to be, or they are developing TMNT Shredder's Revenge. That's going to be out next year. So I'm really excited about that. But a lot of their games just have this kind of great 16-bit, pixel art that I just freaking love, man. I love like all the stuff that's going on in the backgrounds. It's so like vibrant and just detailed. It's a really cool game. $15, you can't beat it.
The zipline thing you're talking about, it kind of reminds me. It's like an alternate version of like Spider-Man's web slinging in a way. The way he's doing it, because like the way he does it out to the side, you can go up like
yeah, but you can't really swing from it or anything.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I guess like I know what you're saying. You can't swing from it. It's not the same, but it's kind of
sure.
Like,
yeah.
Now this looks really good.
Yeah, how much is it? $15. It's on Switch and Steam as well. Ooh. So if you don't want to play it on Switch, you can play it on Steam. So
nice.
Check it out.
I'm definitely going to check that bad boy out. That's really good. Nice.
Who knows? Maybe before the show's over, Graham will probably buy it. So
probably. My Switch is in the other room, but maybe I'll go grab that.
So, cool. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. What have you been up to?
What haven't I been up to? I can't remember if last week I told you that we're setting our flat. We're setting the flat. I think
it's not flat enough, right?
It's not flat enough. You
gotta get a flatter flat.
Yeah. Or apartment. You guys say apartment, don't you, over there?
We do. Well, we say. I mean, it depends because apartments probably closest. Like townhouse too can kind of be an apartment in a way.
Okay. But okay, well, it's a flat. It's like one level. We're up like one level from street level, but it's just one floor. We've got a couple of rooms and stuff. Anyway, yeah, we've got a balcony, so we've got a little outside space. But over lockdown, we kind of realised, man, it'd be nice to actually go outside in the garden. Because I think we went to my parents' house when they went away, and they've got a lovely big garden. And we're sort of sitting in the garden going, I want a garden. Just like, hey, I'm fed up with this flat. It's not the best. So yeah, we're looking at getting a house, and we've actually sold this place. So
congrats! Wow.
Within like 2 days, we got an offer, and it was like literally on the market for 2 days. Someone came round. I actually showed them round as well. Like, so I basically sold the flat. Like,
okay, wait, I want to hear this. So, because that is, I will say this, that is typically like a no. Yeah, because I mean, we've just obviously sold our house and bought a house. So, I bought another house before that one. But there was some moments where when we were going around looking at houses, there were some times where the people were there, and it got super awkward. I remember this one guy was just like, he was being really weird. And so we were like, let's get the hell out of here. And so, and that's what our realtor said too, is like, when you're showing your home, you got to get out. They're like, don't be there. But it's funny, like, so you showed it. Let's hear this. Let's hear the story.
So yeah, we call them estate agents over here, but you call them realtors. Yeah, our estate agent though, they've got like a team of people, but they weren't available on that day because it's like almost like a last minute thing. They're like, yeah, so this lady wants to come, but she wants to come during the week. I'm not available, and my teammate's like off somewhere else. Would you be okay doing it? She knew I work from home at the moment, so I was like, yeah, sure, I guess so. Like if one of you's around, that might be better because I've never sold a place like this before. But yeah, but it was easy. Like she came round. She's not like super young or anything. She was like, she's not young at all. She's like in her 40s maybe, and her mum came round as well. Like I guess just they wanted to look at it together. It was just like they were really nice and friendly, and I just sort of walked them round and sort of just went, "This is the kitchen."
Maybe she wanted to come because you're a strange man. A strange looking, yes. a suspect looking man. That's why.
Yes. But yeah, I just showed them around and we like showed them the balcony, and like we've got a lovely view from our balcony. It overlooks like a pond and stuff, it's like a mini lake basically. Like it's got ducks on it and stuff, and there's like some beautiful trees which were like, just turning golden brown and stuff. And they're like, wow, that's a great view. I'm like, yep, that's what sold us on this flat. And then just basically all I did was show around. And luckily we tidied the place. We tidied the shit out of the place. So really clean.
Wait. I want to hear what she said when she saw your game room. She's like, I think we need to go. We've seen enough.
Hold on a second. I'm going to turn my main light on so you can see a bit more of like the room. So Kate hates this room. She's not a big fan of the colour because I chose the colour. I've always wanted a blue room. And the first thing they said when they walked in, the mum was like, I've got a bedroom this colour. and the daughter was like, I love this colour. And then she's like, you've got a lot of, is that games? I was like, yes, it's mostly games and DVDs. She's like, my friend's son would love this room, basically. She got really excited by it. So yeah. So I personally think this sold the flat.
The game room, nice.
This is the game room, yeah.
So that view is the one that's.
Oh yeah. Nice. But it's so funny when there's like, yeah, and in the bedroom it's like all white walls except one wall which has got like a purple. It's like a feature wall, so it's just purple. And the mum was like, "I love your colour styling in this flat." And I was just like, "Yes."
That's so funny. Did you throw it in Kate's face when she came home?
Basically, yeah.
I bet you couldn't wait until she got home. Like you're already telling her right when she walked through the door.
Oh yeah. At that point, we didn't know if they'd put an offer in, and there's like literally the next day. Oh no, actually, it was that night. It was that evening. They called up and went, "Oh yeah, they put an offer in," and then it got shown to a few more people at the weekend on Saturday, and we got 2 more offers basically. And they had a little mini bidding war, and then the final 2 offers. The way we do it in the UK is a bit different to other countries, but you don't know what other people have offered. You can't be told what it is. But basically, they both were offering exactly the same amount, and we went with the lady who came round because she seemed really excited, really keen by it. So yeah. I basically sold this flat. There you go. So
are you getting a commission on your own sale?
I'm going to have to ask for that. I think I'm going to have to go to them and go, "Oi, where's my green? Where's my greenbacks?"
That's funny. That is funny.
But yeah, so that. But now we need to find a place to move into. So
how does that work? How much time do you have to like move out and everything?
So the way it works, it's a bit different over here. Basically, what happens is the lawyers, like the solicitors or whatever, they start talking to each other, and we have to like sign documents and stuff. And like, I guess we have to like do some forms and stuff. But it's all down to like how long the solicitors take and stuff, and if there's any building checks that need to be done and stuff. And then eventually, after like a little bit of time, then you get given a rough date of moving. So it's not like you don't really arrange a date to move in, if that makes sense. And the thing, I don't know if it's different in America, but I know in Australia, once you say I want to buy this place and like you sign on the dotted line, you have to buy the place. In the UK, you can put out at literally any time.
Wow.
So some people, there's been, you get situations where people like 3 months or whatever it takes to do all the legal stuff, and then the last minute like, yeah, actually I don't want to buy this place, and they just walk off. It's just like, what?
Yeah, you can't do that in the US. After you sign a contract, with your offer or after your offer, you're basically like legally bound.
Yeah, it's a little bit different over here. It's so annoying. They need to change it.
there's still ways to get out of it and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we had certain clauses. That's boring, but
yeah.
Anyway, what else have you been up to?
What else have I been up to? I've got a little pickup. Let's see. Actually, I'll make my camera bigger on the thing. So I got this. Oh god, my light's shining.
What is that?
It is called the Super Drive, and this is not a game. It's it's a cartridge of many games.
Ooh.
So basically, it's one of those fancy cartridges which has like an SD card in it, and you can put. I think you can basically put Mega Drive, Genesis, Mega CD, 32X, and I think Master System games on it. And if you've got it goes in the actual proper Genesis or Mega Drive console. And if you've got this Mega CD and the 32X plugged in, you can then play those games. So it needs the hardware still to actually play the games.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got this. I've actually got it from Etsy. I was thinking of showing the link, but I'm not sure if I should do because that's, it's a bit dodgy. But yeah, basically, I can't keep all my Mega Drive games around. So I was thinking of another way to do this. And I like playing on the original hardware more than, playing on an emulator. So yeah, I figured this is go. And one of the things I don't like about most emulators or most the modern retro consoles, like the mini consoles, they don't play 32X games or Mega CD games. And that's one thing I really want to do. And I saw this and I was like, I want to do this. But because we're selling the place, I've got my Mega Drive still. I've actually got 2 Mega Drives behind me. But I packed up all the cables and controllers, so I can't actually play.
Oh, no.
That's just, I completely forgot. I was like, yeah, I'm actually like I've got an Xbox controller to play games tonight because I packed everything else away, basically. So yeah, it's all at my parents' house at the moment, so I can't even play with it. But yeah, we'll see. I'll give you an update when I finally do. But yeah, so that's a thing. And what else? So I saw 2 nights ago, I saw No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. So this one just came out?
The one that just came out, yeah.
Is this like a part of a 3-part movie series, or how does this one? Because I'm not a James Bond guy. Okay. I haven't watched a ton of them, so I know that this is like tied to a previous one, though, right?
Well, yeah. So basically, all the Daniel Craig movies kind of do tie together. Okay. But yeah, it's kind of like most James Bond movies. There's sometimes normally a bit of a connection to them all. But yeah, they've had more of a consistent storyline with Daniel Craig's James Bonds, basically. And we're showing the trailer right now, which is showing some of his previous movies, but then this is like also showing it's going to show them the main trailer as well.
What was the one that came before this one?
The one that came before this one was Spectre.
Okay. And what was the one before that?
Skyfall, which is one that everyone loves. And then before that was Quantum of Solace, and before that was Casino Royale.
Jesus, I don't know if I've seen any of those.
Oh,
I saw the one where he's running on that like really high crane thing. He was chasing a man.
I think
he was very angry. He was not happy at all about it. He was very mad.
That was either Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace. I can't remember which one that one was.
I do believe they were playing some casino game. Like
okay, there you go. Casino
poker,
Royale.
Maybe. I think they were playing some poker in there.
But anyway,
very serious the whole time.
So I'll just say one thing. I like Daniel Craig as an actor. I think he does play a pretty good Bond. I've not really enjoyed his Bond movies as much as previous Bond movies. That's more the style that they've been done in. I did enjoy Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace I thought was better the second or third time I watched it. Skyfall, I don't know why everyone loves it, because I don't think it's that good. Spectre, I was bored in the cinema. This one, literally love the whole thing right up until the last 10 minutes. And I'm not going to spoil what happens, but I walked out of the cinema and went, what were they thinking? Basically, I was literally like, what were they thinking? I should put out like a tweet and an Instagram post saying the same thing. And like someone I don't even know just replied to me going, yeah, I thought exactly the same thing when I walked out of the cinema. I was talking to my friend about it, and we were both like, did we just watch that? Like what just happened? So yeah, I'm not going to say what it is, but if you're into James Bond, it's it's a very good movie. It's very solid, very entertaining, good action scenes, and pretty decent story. Well, most Bond movies don't have the best storylines, I'd say, but yeah, the storyline's decent enough. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed by the end. Like, it's one of those things that you're like.
And so is he done now? Is this like his?
So this is Daniel Craig's final Bond movie, but they, you know, every few movies they well, you know, actors get older, they need to change it up a little bit. But yeah. So yeah,
who's going to be the next Bond? Have they said that yet?
They don't think they've announced it. There's always talk of like Idris Elba being.
I'm
Bond.
on that train. Dude, I remember. I still tell people when I was at the Invictus Games, the opening ceremonies. I think you were there with me in London.
I wasn't at the opening ceremony, but I was there for a few bits and pieces.
Yeah, I know you were there. Obviously, yeah. I thought you were there for that. But anyway, he did the opening like speech where he read the Invictus poem. It was one of the coolest things ever. I was I was like, I'm probably maybe like 40 yards away from Idris Elba. I mean, you couldn't get super close to him, but I was in a group of people. It was so cool. I loved it. And so I love everything Idris Elba. So if he would be Bond, I would watch his Bond, because I bet he's going to be even more angry and way more serious than Daniel Craig. I guarantee you. And probably more funny at the same time too.
Yeah, probably. That's one thing that I think was missing from previous Daniel Craig James Bond movies is the great puns, but there's a couple of really good ones, like classic ones, like Sean Connery had a great one where like he killed someone, like put him in the bathtub. And I think there was electric eels, and the guy got electrocuted, and he walked off and went shocking. just great puns like that. And there's a couple of them in this one. I was like, yes, that's so good. So yeah, I miss those sort of things. But yeah. Yeah, I'd love for you to watch it, and then we can maybe have a spoiler podcast or something where we can talk about what happens. Because but if you're not hugely into James Bond, maybe it's not for you. I don't know.
I think why don't we do this? What if I will watch it this week?
Okay.
If you watch a movie that we could talk about next week as well. I'm going tonight. I have tickets at 7 to go see Dune. Dune movie.
I do really want to see that. Yeah, I need to arrange to see that.
And I believe it's on HBO Max as well. So if you can't make it to the theater, you can always watch it. So no excuses.
Okay.
I'll hold you to it. I will watch.
I will try to watch it in the next week, but I'm actually going away on Saturday night until Wednesday. So I've only got like 2 days basically to watch it.
Well, you'll be back on Wednesday.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'll see what I can do. Yep. No, that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, and anything else? Well, I was trying to remember what else I did. That was it. That's what they were thinking. Cool. Yeah. What were they thinking? But yeah, with that, let's crack on with our feature chat. Or well, it's going to be our news of the week. Yep, take the feature. I haven't got a news of the week intro, so feature chat, that'll do. So yeah, let's crack on with this. And so I was going to tee up the first bit of news on my side. So here we go. Chris, do you want to lead with this one?
Yeah. Sorry, I was sitting there reading the chat. So
yeah, you were. Oh, what's going on in the chat? What's popping in the chat?
Oh, we got Scotty is in the chat.
Oh, Scotty, buddy.
Yep. Just making some Daniel Craig jokes is all he's doing. So he's cracking up keeping the chat nice and lighthearted in there. It's good stuff, Scotty. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So let's talk about some news. Man, I'll tell you what. We got an email a couple days ago from Watermelon, and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? Watermelon Games. Man, I always get excited because some crazy shit's about to happen when you get an email from Watermelon Games. And so it was basically an email just saying, hey, we're about to launch a Kickstarter. It was kind of vague, but I figured out, like, it sounds like they're basically going to port Paprium to some maybe next-gen consoles. Sure enough, that's what it was. So they're looking to basically, this is what the project is. They're porting Paprium to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Steam, and Linux as well. They're looking to raise $300,000 to do this. And it's interesting, the way the tiers are set up for this, because the way it is basically you can you can get like put a tier for $1, and then you choose the various add-ons.
Okay.
Through physical games and like digital games and stuff like that. The tier I got is like a $24 for the digital tier for right now. But I do plan on going in and trying to look at what physical tiers I might end up getting. But if you want, let's look at the actual tier list in here, or the add-on list. There you go. Can we zoom in right there? Go up a little bit.
Oh, up a bit.
You went up too high. That thing. Right?
Oh,
with
okay.
all the colors. With all the colors.
Oh, wow. I wonder what that was. Let's,
yeah, because I want to look at it again. So the way it works is like, yeah, you basically go in and you can add on all these different things. Where I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I can read better, because I'm having a hard time.
I was trying to get a bit closer as well.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Too close, too far.
Whoa, what happened? Okay, here we are. So the way the pledges and the tiers are, it goes from the $1 tier that I just explained. Then you get a $24 for the digital game. There's a one for a Mega Pope where it's $8,888. And you basically get like a custom game cartridge. You get like a custom, you could like get yourself put in the game, and you get 88 copies of the game to give your friends. If that's not enough, you also, for $1,000, you could get one of 3. They're calling it Paprium prototype cabinets, but from the way it sounds, if you read the details, you still have to have like a Genesis and the cartridge. So I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's like a legit arcade in the traditional sense there.
Why would it cost $1,000 though? What?
I don't know. But here's where the meat and the potatoes of the actual Kickstarter come in. The add-ons is where they're looking at, because for physical editions, it's about $49 on Steam and the PS4. PS5, you can get the collector's edition for $100, and they're also making available the Genesis versions of Paprium too. If you didn't get those when they originally came out, now the one thing to keep in mind is the prices on the Genesis versions have gone up. They're not the original prices that they listed them like for the original. Because I think that the way they did it is they sold pre-orders on their Magical Game Factory website back in the day, whereas this one they're using Kickstarter, so they have to do it a little bit differently. And so you can even get some copies of Pure Solar as well. You can get the Fight Stick.
Ooh,
yeah, and so the Fight Stick sold out. Whoops, that one sold out. They only have a few copies left of the Paprium Strategy Guide. Ooh. Actually, I might want to get that. I might get that. $50. So let's see here. I'm going to go back a bit because I do want to explain some information about like what is actually in this, or what's different, I should say, about this version of the game. Let me see. I'm going to open this up because one of the big things that they said is it is going to be a 16:9 aspect ratio.
Oh, okay.
So it will kind of extend across the whole thing. And this next bit's a little vague. They're saying that they're using some different proprietary methods to basically get the best version of those graphics from the original game. Because Fonzie, if you look at the video in Kickstarter, he talks about how the graphics are meant to be displayed in a CRT. And when you put those over and make them like, in HD, they can get, messed up and all this other stuff. So he's saying that they've developed these proprietary techniques to do this. I'll actually read what they said. Instead of redrawing all the game's graphics in a boring HD look, we've decided to retain the original graphics that give justice to the immense and massively tedious work made by our pixel artists. And they've also done kind of the same thing, it sounds like, with the music. I don't know. It sounds like a lot. It's a lot of big words. I don't understand all of it. But it sounds like if they come through with it, it sounds like they'll be able to release a quality port. I know that people, probably have their reservations given what's been going on with Watermelon over the past few years. Namely, I think the biggest thing was people were just upset with how long it took for them to communicate for the many years that Paprium was under development. There was just not a lot of information that was coming out of Watermelon, and it sounds like a lot of Watermelon's team from just a company standpoint ended up leaving the company. I know Tulio Goncalves, we've had on the Nerdcast, back in the day, Graham. I'm sure you remember him. Talking to him over the years. But you know what? It's been such an interesting story, I think, just with Watermelon from the days of Pure Solar to Paprium and everything in between. It's such an interesting story. So I personally very captivated by everything with this. We're going to continue to cover this as we, as it continues to develop. But I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know. What do you think? Are you interested in Paprium?
A little bit, yeah. I do think it's because I never actually got to play it. I think it's a cool looking game. I was way more interested in PS Solar, and I annoyingly didn't buy it when I could have had the chance. And that's why. So I'm kind of more interested in this, so I can get a copy of PS Solar possibly.
It's funny. I was just. Can you go back to the prices right there a minute? Okay, because I was just at Too Many Games, and I meant to say in last week's show that the one game I bought at Too Many Games was Pure Solar on Dreamcast, but it was the Japanese version, which I wanted to see here because if they have, I don't know. It looks like they don't have any. They don't have any games here. It's just Pure Solar. Oh, the 10-year edition, they do.
Yeah, it's a 10-year edition.
$129.
Yeah, which is pricey, but the original ones are so hard to get now.
It looks like they've raised the prices to kind of match close to what you may pay on eBay and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if this stuff goes higher than that.
Yeah, probably will.
But yeah, if I were you, buy the stuff and just hang on to it because it's likely that the prices of everything are going up these days. But
yeah.
So that's Paprium. It's one of those crazy, not crazy, but just it's a very polarizing game and company, really. And there's a lot of stuff that's been going on with it. So we'll continue to cover it. Cool. But it looks like they're well on their way to reaching their goal. I think you just showed, Graham, they've raised over 100,000 pounds at this point.
Ooh, have they?
I think so. I know yesterday when I finished writing, they were at 75,000 raised. And so I just wanted to...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can change that to dollars.
It's 150,000 approximately dollars.
Yeah,
so
150,000.
They're halfway there. This is a 60-day campaign, so obviously they're going to reach their goal. They're already a third of the way there, and at this point, it's just basically people are going to be pre-ordering. But the one thing I don't know if you remember, Graham, they did put out earlier this year. I think it was in February. They put out an email basically stating that they were going to have to sell all the IPs off, including Pure Solar and Paprium and all this other stuff. And I don't remember seeing like what was after that. I don't know if they've ever addressed that, like Fonzie's, if he's ever addressed that publicly again. I don't remember seeing anything via email come through. So that's a weird one. Obviously, they still have it.
Which is good to see.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll keep going, but that's that one.
Nice. Cool. So the next one is I was just lining up the video for you there. Here we go.
So, the next piece of news is the Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition.
Yeah.
A trailer just came out today.
Should you watch this quickly?
Yeah, let's watch it. Now, Graham, when's the did you play all of these GTA games? This is what 3, 4, and 5, right?
Yeah. So it's 3, Vice City, and San Andreas.
Yeah.
Which arguably are the best ones.
Yeah, these are the last ones I ever played.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. like Vice City. I love Vice City so much. It's such a good game. Remake. I love the 80s sort of vibe and stuff. San Andreas is a surprisingly epic game. Like it's basically like an RPG almost. Like the way that you level up and stuff in it and things like that, and the way you can mod cars is really awesome. And then they released Grand Theft Auto 4, and it was just like, this is not that entertaining.
You know what it was? I skipped San Andreas. That's what it was, and played 4. So yeah, I loved Vice City a lot. I didn't. I played a little bit of San Andreas, but not nearly enough. And this excites me because now maybe I could go back and jump into this. And this might be a good time to do that. It looks good. It's not just merely a HD, kind of ramping up the resolution like you've seen a lot of. It looks like they've done quite a bit of work.
It's weird though, because they've kind of kept the same, I guess, almost cartoony graphical style that like the PlayStation 2 and Xbox had back in the day, if that makes sense. Like they couldn't produce really realistic visuals, but it looks like the way characters are animated and stuff, they look really sharp, but also slightly cartoony. I love that. So I'll tell you a little bit about the game. So Rockstar North is working with Grove Street Games. They're the development team that did some of the mobile GTA ports. So they're working with them. This game is going to come out on November 11th for this is $54.99. This is in pounds. So whatever that it's probably what $1,000 in dollars, whatever. No, it looks like it's going to come out digitally first, and the physical copies are going to be released later on December 7th. But it's going to be coming to PC, PlayStations, 4 and 5, Xbox, and the Switch. On the Switch as well. Wow.
On the Switch, yeah.
Ooh. Man.
I'll tell you some updates that it's going to have as well. It's going to have some control upgrades, improvements to targeting and the lock-on, updated weapon and radio station wheels.
Ooh, okay.
Updated mini maps with enhanced navigation, allowing players to set waypoints and destinations. Oh, that actually will be awesome. I love that. You know what, man? I would love I just love quality of life stuff like this in games. It makes it so much better to go back and replay some of these old games. Because I'll tell you what, man, I tried to go back and replay some like the original Phantasy Star, and it is just a long, grindy game. And that what was it? Was it M2 that released the one on this on the D? It was at the Switch. Yeah, is the Phantasy Star port on Switch?
Oh yeah.
And it had a lot of neat quality of life things that made it play a lot faster. You could fast forward the walking and just stuff like that. And so it's so nice to see developers do this type of thing. I love it.
Yeah. Because I remember trying to play the original Phantasy Star a few times back in the day, and also I think on the Virtual Console, and I just could not play that game. It's just too difficult. I got it on the Switch, I beat it, and I was like, it's just like things like having a freaking map that you can actually see and stuff. Like this
is kind of cool too. The Switch version, you're going to be able to use gyro aiming and touchscreen camera controls.
Literally doesn't interest me.
I know, but I don't know. I would never use it either. The gyro aiming.
Games that use that just drive me.
It just brings me back to the Wii, like the Wii and the Wii U era, and it immediately makes me mad because those games were never made it better. The Wii or the Wii U never made it better to play the games that way. You could always use a controller, and I feel like, or a keyboard and mouse, and always be better at it.
Although, actually, are you saying for the Switch, can I hold like a Wii controller? Is that what you're saying? The Switch controller?
I don't think so. I don't know. Okay. I think it's more of just like the gyro.
Yeah, I don't know. That's rubbish then. Because if it's like on foot, I could use the Joy-Con to point like a Wiimote. I'm actually okay for that. There's some Wii games I did enjoy doing that with.
Weren't those like first-person games though that you really?
Some of there was a couple. There was one. Which one was it? There was a really basic game that sort of came with like there's a crossbow like light gun add-on thing which came with Link's crossbow, and that was like third person running around shooting stuff, and it was really fun. I was like, this controls really well. I'm really enjoying it. So I could dig that in Grand Theft Auto, running around like shooting things with that. But yeah, I guess we'll see. And
it
like
says
games as well.
Across all 3 titles, they've rebuilt the lighting system. So
cool.
there's and I did notice this. Definitely to improve shadows. If you saw in the trailer, there's also improved weather, reflections, upgraded character and vehicle models, just higher resolution textures across buildings and all sorts of stuff. So it sounds like they're really kind of going in and revamping all 3 of these games. So it's going to be interesting to see the final version.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually pretty excited for this. This is really cool. Chris's dog.
Just shut my door.
Oh, okay. I thought your dog was attacking you. I heard a dog.
No, it's just Jesco. He's old and he just starts barking for no reason. He'll just be sitting there.
He can see death.
Barking. I wish he'll see it a lot sooner. I'll tell you that.
No,
I'm joking. I'm joking. Oh, God.
You can't joke about that stuff.
No, Jay, I always say stuff like that. Jay gets so bad at me. It's so funny. It's like, no, he's right there. Like, whatever. Okay, last piece of news, and this one's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I'd say let's label this as a rumor for now. But it says the gist is there's some rumors going around that the Switch online expansion's high price could be due to Sega's licensing costs.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting stuff here. Are you familiar with Emily Rogers, Graham?
No, not at all. But so I don't really know anyone in the industry, so it's fine.
Well, she's I guess she leaks a lot of content or news and stuff.
Right.
So she's one of those that is a leaker. But I think I don't know Emily. I should say she because I don't know. But I don't know how their track record is, honestly. But this is an interesting piece. The tweet basically says that licensing costs are likely the main culprit behind the NSO expansion's bold price. I heard Sega were paid very, very well. This is notable because Sega weren't big fans of Wii's Virtual Console service due to low sales, revenue split, and lack of marketing. Hence why Sega didn't support the Wii U Virtual Console. And it says third-party titles, Konami, Capcom, are also being licensed for Genesis. NSO, so the licensing costs begin to add up after a while. And who knows what licensing agreement arrangement Nintendo had with Rare Microsoft. So, I don't know. So if let's back up and let's talk about the price for a minute for those that may not know about the whole Nintendo Online expansion, which was announced last week during one of their Nintendo Directs, the Animal Crossing one. The Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack is $50 a year for individual memberships, and it increases $30 from the standard price, which was $20. So it's basically a $30 increase. The family memberships, I think you get up to 8 accounts, and that costs like $80 a year. And so all this adds up after a little bit. But I don't know. What do you think of this? Do you buy that maybe Sega is wanting more piece of the pie, and the only way to make this happen was for Nintendo to put that onto the consumer by just raising the price at kind of a high level here? What do you think?
Well, the thing I find about this is I don't think it's actually that high an amount from what it's, because that's for the year. Yeah, the price is for the year. It's not like
it's for the year.
Yes, it's not like every month. It's like Xbox Live, I'm sure, is more expensive than that. And if you're,
it's just crazy because before you were paying $20, but you got all the NES and Super NES games.
Yeah,
and now they're bringing N64 and Genesis, but they're raising it by $30, like more than double.
Yeah, I get licensing has got to be a thing, though. That must be one of the reasons why. I don't know if it's necessarily just all Sega, because as it sort of highlights, there's like Capcom games and stuff in there, so maybe Sega's got something to do a little bit. But I reckon there'll be lots of other deals going on there for the different games, and so yeah, I think there's definitely credibility to this. I don't think it's necessarily a rumor as such. It sounds like it's just completely plausible, and that's most likely what has happened. But I As for if I think it's annoying, like, yeah, it's never good paying more for something, but at the same time, you're getting a lot more for it. This is the stuff I wanted to have originally on the service. Like, the NES and the SNES games. They're fun, but I really want to play like N64 games. I know you don't like N64, Chris. I know you don't like N64, but I really want to play some of these N64 games. You know, Genesis Mega Drive games. I'm a Sega fan. Always want to play these, especially we can play online now with some of these games, which is awesome. So yeah, and if
aren't they meant to bring online play? Like, aren't they supposed to bring online play to all of the games? Isn't like one of the?
I think that's one of the things. Yes, I think that is a thing that's happening. So yeah, so like Mario Kart and stuff has that. Like, so Mario Kart 64 is going to have that and things like that. So I'm pretty excited.
I'm just wondering what of the Genesis games like what have they announced? What ones will have any sort of expanded? Because I'll tell you what, I mean, they have the list here, and you know, some of the games. So they got a lot of the standard stuff that you see, like Sonic 2, Streets of Rage 2, Echo, Golden Axe, Strider, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Gunstar Heroes. I mean, that's a lot of the stuff that you always see on all of these things. Now, the ones that I did see that I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool is Musha. They got, and they also got Castlevania Bloodlines and Contra Hardcore. And so I thought those were good, but those aren't even, I mean, those are third-party games. And I guess I'm excited because those are the games we don't typically get in some of these releases. Yeah,
I think that's the thing. We're getting some games you don't often get as much. I know most of these games on the Mega Drive Mini or the Genesis Mini, but not everyone bought that. So I think there's a lot of people are going to get to play this for the first time. Which is cool, and just the fact that, you know, they got the online play, they got, you know, some quality of life stuff like rewinding and stuff like that, save states. I'm all for it. So
you're right. They will. I'm on the Nintendo page here. I just dropped a link in the Discord, but they are showing that you will be able to play together on the Genesis games. They actually have screens already of it in action with Golden Axe. And Echo.
Yeah.
It's funny that they show Echo in that it says you can give friends a hand. So basically you can kind of pass, let the control them help you, someone spectating, because Echo is probably a game you might need some help with.
Yeah, that's definitely a game you need help with.
So yeah, but anyway, that's that bit of news.
What's your thoughts on it? Yeah, like are you pro this or are you not pro this?
Unless they have something coming down coming down, I don't think that what they've licensed here in this original thing, eliminate the non-Sega games, the non-Sega published and developed games, there's nothing here that they don't already pack in all sorts of stuff. So I don't, and this is stuff that like smaller companies do all the time, like companies like. Oh man, who had made those like really bad hardware? At games.
Yeah.
They license this stuff all the time on all their products. So I can't imagine that a company like At Games is going to license these games and can put out products all the time. But a company like Nintendo can't license the same games and put it out at a reasonable price. So I do think that obviously it adds to some of the price for sure. It will add to some, like you said, obviously they have to license these games. It's going to add to it, but I don't necessarily buy that Sega is the main reason why the cost is what it is. I don't buy. I could see some of her reasoning or Emily's reasoning that Sega wanted more licensing fees. Compared to maybe the Virtual Console days. I mean, because that was 10 years or more ago. So I'm sure like everyone wants a bigger piece of the pie now.
Yeah.
Especially as we're getting more into these companies like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo going and making their own kind of mini ecosystems where they're licensing these games and you're able to play them on their own separate ecosystem. So now that these companies know that these bigger ones are going to want to license their games, of course they're going to raise some of their licensing costs and things like that. So that's standard business, you know? So we'll see.
I wonder if Nintendo's always had this in the pipeline, but they basically launched with their own NES and Super Nintendo games and the basic online functions and stuff, you know. And they didn't want to put it out at the really high price because they didn't have everything ready or something. That's what I'm thinking, because I feel like they're kind of matching more of what, Xbox and PlayStation prices are for their services. And, so in my head, it makes sense that they were sort of going to go for that sort of market pricing. But if they launch just with NES and Super Nintendo games, people are going to be like, no, I'm not paying that. So they need to go in at a lower price to begin with, get people interested, go, hey, our online's actually working. Back in like the Wii days when we said online was going to be a great thing, well, now we're actually sorted the shit out. So, so I think it's got people in the door. People have been having fun with the games and stuff, and then, hopefully they can bust out some of the bigger stuff like the licenses and all that jazz.
Maybe I don't know. I just see like I feel like we could do all this stuff already on all these other systems that we don't have to pay any money for, and I don't know. Nintendo's gonna have to do more to convince me to buy this.
So the online play doesn't entice you? Is that what you're saying?
Not right now. It doesn't. I like the idea behind it, but the offerings, the software offerings, are not what it needs to be for me. Okay. I want to see stuff that Sega doesn't license all the time. Like, why? It's the same shit all the time when Sega's licensing any of their games. It's always the same stuff. That's why it did pique my interest to see Musha and some other stuff like that, which I do believe Musha has been now more recently. You start seeing it on some different packs and stuff, but they got to do more. Like, I would love to see just like some stuff that like it's hard to play. Like maybe some of the stuff from the Sega Channel days or something like that that are playable again, because they had a couple of exclusive games on the Sega Channel that you could play, or versions of it. Like, those are the type of things that I think could be interesting that they could do, along with some of the bigger titles that are going to bring more of the casual gaming audience, because I know that this is what it's kind of focused on. I get that, but for me, as like someone who I wouldn't label myself as a hardcore gamer or anything, but I would say like I'm looking at something beyond just the typical offerings, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, I've just
also fuck the Nintendo 64.
I was about to say something which would not excite you at all, but I reckon it excites a lot of people. Imagine if like Nintendo was going to bust out bigger licensed games like GoldenEye or something, but somehow managed to get the license to get the N64 version of GoldenEye on there. I think people would lose their shit over that.
If they did that, I would jump on board, because I will say I did like GoldenEye. I did play it with my buddies. I'll say this. At that time, GoldenEye was the best first-person shooter I've ever played.
Okay,
up to that point, because I wasn't a big PC gamer, right. And at that time, like I guess I mean, I had played some good first-person shooters on the PS1, but I think that GoldenEye was, as far as like a competitive shooter, that was the best.
Yeah,
that was the best.
Well, so for me, the N64 opened up first-person games through just two games, Turok Rock Dinosaur Hunter and GoldenEye. Like, they changed. I think they actually kind of changed console first-person shooters like totally, because up until then it was basically PC. All console first-person shooters were a bit crap. Those were the first two games actually like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And GoldenEye changed it all up with the whole campaigns and missions and stuff, and the way you go around the levels and do things. Turok expanded it by just having really big open 3D worlds levels where you can look up and down and look around, which up until then, from memory, you couldn't really do that properly, at least not fluidly in a console game. So yeah, I feel like those two really stepped up the boat, as it were. No, right, that's not a threat saying.
Yeah, that was the boat. I like it.
They stepped up the boat.
They stepped up the boat on that one. I like it. So,
oh man, but yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. You're right. I don't necessarily think this is all down to Sega expanding, like their doing of expanding the prices, unless they said to Nintendo, you got to give us lots and lots of money, which they might have done, but I don't see them doing that. I've seen them asking for a bit more of the cheese, a bit more cheddar, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I think we talked about that one enough.
That's good. Cool. Right.
And I think that's going to wrap up the news.
That wraps up the news. That's all good. All groovy. Nice one.
I think it wraps up the show.
Basically wraps up the show. I was actually also just looking for someone to raid, and I can't really find anyone to raid from any games that we've sort of spoken about, which is a bit annoying. Is there anyone you want to raid, or any game you want me to see playing?
Anything Grand Theft Auto.
I was going to say Grand Theft Auto going. Yeah, GTA. Yeah. Okay, right. Talk to the people. What's
while you're doing that
stuff? Yeah,
I got plenty of stuff to say. I could talk all day, Graham. But anyway, what I think is the most important thing to say right now is if you just learned about Megavisions and you want to catch up on some of the old issues, go to our store at megavisions.net/store, where you can buy back issues of the magazine. You can buy posters. You'll soon be able to buy issue 1 of the magazine if you haven't been a Patreon supporter of ours. But if you want to get on that, that's the best way to get subscribed to the magazine. Go to patreon.com/megavisions and join, because basically once you join, you don't get charged until an issue is ready to go. And so you can just sit and wait. And when issue 2 is ready, we'll let everyone know that the charge is going to be coming. And then once we get the issues in, we get them shipped to you. And then, I think that should be it. Are you ready to go, Graham, on that? Right?
Yep. Let's basically, yeah. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. It'd be great to have you. With that, let's wrap up the show and let's go raid someone who is playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And
boom.
Have a good weekend and be excellent to each other.
Catch you later. Bye.
Honey, I gotta tell you about this sandwich.